If you're serious about changing your life in 2026, start these 7 habits now. I'm going to go through each one of these habits, but not only am I going to go through the habit and explain it, I'm also going to talk about how you can actually implement it. There's way too much stuff out there about what you should be doing without telling you how to actually do it. If I just give you 7 habits, most people are not going to actually take those 7 habits, implement them, and stay consistent. So I'm going to go over them, but then I'm also going to talk about how you can stay consistent and accountable to them so that you really do change your life for the rest of this year. I waited to release this until February because there's going to be way too many people that come out with this video and talk about 2026 in January when everybody's all hyped up. Well, I want this to be for the people who are actually trying to stay on top of changing their lives after that first month hype is over. So that's why this is coming out in February. So the first thing that I'm going to say that everybody should be doing every single day, non-negotiable, is meditation and prayer. Now, these can be at the same time. You can do a morning meditation and a prayer, and it doesn't need to be some super elaborate thing. It can literally be 1 minute long. It doesn't have to be some wild process where you have to act like a monk to be a better person. It's really just not the case. You can just have a short practice where you sit down, you close your eyes, you take some deep breaths, you try to quiet your thoughts, you visualize yourself and what's going on with you, where you're at, you get centered on how you're feeling, what's going on, quiet your thoughts down, and then practice some gratitude and just feel grateful for your life, for those around you, for the people you care about. It can start with just that. And then if you're a spiritual person, you can add some prayer and just pray to your God for what you're thankful for, what you're grateful for. For me, I'm a Christian, so I pray to Jesus and I do this every single day. I do the meditation and I do the prayer, and it just keeps me aligned with my purpose and my spiritual connection. And it's something that only takes people a minute. Now, even if you're an atheist, you can still do this meditation and practice gratitude. So that's something that you can do every single day. Now, this isn't really something that's going to require a whole lot of effort to stay on track with. I mean, it's like 1 minute a day, just do it. It's just something that you just do. You can do it in the morning before you check your phone, even. So that's something that you can just start to implement. Hey, before I even look at my phone, I just do this. All right, the next one is going to be go to sleep at the same time every single night. So obviously, some people, there might be some variables here. Like, for example, sometimes I have to deal with like the kids have something going on. Like last week, my kids were sick and that kind of shifted some things a little bit. But this is really just about having a window. So maybe you try to go to sleep at 10 p.m. every night. Now, sometimes that might mean that you go to sleep at 10:30, whatever. All I'm saying is have it be mostly a window. Give yourself like a window of time. Like, all right, I try to be done. I'm off the phone. I'm ready for bed at about 10 p.m. Maybe here and there you're watching a movie, whatever, but don't push it to where if the time is 10 p.m. that you're setting, don't push it to where some nights it's like 11:30 because that's just going to not really work. Now, obviously you have to live your life. Sometimes there's going to be things going on. There's going to be a concert, whatever. So be reasonable about it, but keep it consistent around the same time every night. This is going to train your body in a lot of ways because then it's going to go into the third thing, which is waking up at the same time every single day. This is crucial. Eventually, if you are sleeping at the same time every night, you're going to start waking up around the same time every day. Now, at first, you're probably going to have to use an alarm clock because even if you're going to sleep earlier, you might not be used to waking up earlier. Now, I think that waking up earlier is better because you get more daylight, but it's up to you how you want to handle this based on your lifestyle. This can be totally feasible if you're someone who likes to stay up late and wake up late. I mean, that can work for a lot of people. But for me, I wake up around 5 a.m. every day with no alarm clock. And that's because I go to sleep at the same time every night, wake up at the same time every day. I've trained my body to be regulated. So these two kind of go hand in hand. Habit 2 and habit 3 go hand in hand, but they do take time to develop because even when you start going to sleep around the same time every night, it'll take some time to get used to it. And it'll take time for you to start waking up. And eventually you'll wake up without an alarm clock and it will be very, very positive for you on your mental health and just your body. And it just helps you regulate, helps your metabolism. There's so many benefits that you get from it. The next thing is going to be following a fitness schedule. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to be a complete meathead. You don't have to go to the gym every single day. I like to go to the gym a lot, but I don't go to the gym every day at all. Yesterday, my fitness was I went snowboarding for a really long time. So, snowboarding was my fitness yesterday. Today, my fitness is going to be I'm going to go and I'm going to do pull ups, push ups, a little bit of kettlebell, and then I'm going to go for a trail run after. So, I'm not going to the gym, I'm just working out at my house. Tomorrow, I'll probably go to the gym. It's just, I like to mix it up a little bit. So, it's a routine that I have that I still follow a fitness schedule, but it's not always the exact same environment. Now, some people do better with it always being the same thing. They go to the gym every single day, even if their fitness schedule is different. Some people, it works different for different people. So you're going to have to assess what works best for you. But following a fitness schedule, and for me, that is doing some sort of workout every day. Now, if I'm extremely sore and it's like not a good idea for me to do a super hard workout, I'm still going to go for like a long walk and do something active and get outside. So I will say with the fitness schedule, being outside for a period of time every day is useful. So it kind of goes with the fitness schedule. But if you can be outside for at least 30 minutes of the day, that's going to be helpful for you. For pretty much anybody, that's going to be helpful. Now, obviously, don't be ridiculous. If it's a thunderstorm or something, you don't really need to be hanging out outside. So, just use your brain here. Like, there's obviously exceptions. Next one is going to be following a diet. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to be on a very specific type of diet where, it's like you only eat this type of food every single day, restricted calories, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be different for every person, but it really just means having something that is consistent that's overall going to improve your health. So it might mean that it's some sort of macro type diet. It might mean that it's some sort of like for me, I do the animal-based diet. So I eat a lot of meat and a lot of fat and then fruit. And that's like how my diet mostly works. And then, of course, like some A2 dairy and raw dairy and stuff like that. So I do like a pretty strict animal-based diet. Now, part of my thing is that while I'm following that, there are some exceptions here and there, of course, but it's structured in a way that I'm staying consistent on a diet and I'm following it. Now, diets are going to be, they're one of the most controversial things. People will tell you that it's like almost impossible to follow these consistently. There's going to be probably people who flame me in the comments about, following a diet or whatever. But the point is that you have a plan that you're sticking to. You're not like, okay, I'm on the diet for a week and then you just start eating a bunch of candy and then you do something different and then the next week you're on a different diet. No, it's coming up with something that's really going to work for you, your goals, your body, and that's what you're going to follow. And that will help you stay consistent as well. And then the next one is going to be just avoiding drinking alcohol and sugary drinks and just sticking with fresh juice, water, or tea. Now, obviously, some people drink coffee. I don't have a problem with coffee either, or some sort of like supplements or whatever. And again, I'm not a medical professional. I'm just talking about like what works for me. I've done this stuff over a very long period of time. So sticking with, for me, I live soberly. There's no alcohol, none of that. I've had periods of my life before where I did drink alcohol. There's nothing good that comes of it. That's just the way it is. And, I cannot find any examples of alcohol having a positive outcome for people. It really just is negative on your body, and there's really no argument for it. And it's the same with processed sugary drinks. So when I say fresh juice, I mean like actual fresh juice, not like, some fake juice. Like it has to be like actual, like real, like fresh juice from like good fruit, organic, that sort of thing. But really, water is the main thing here. Tea is always good. Some people like coffee. That's a debatable topic. I'm not sure about that one exactly. It's going to depend on your body and what works for you. But the main thing here is develop a habit of actually living soberly. So no substances, actually living sober. When you start to live sober, you're going to see things are going to open up for you in a way that I can't even explain. It is really remarkable. And I know so many people, so many adults who don't even know what it's like to even go a month sober. And that's sad to me. I think it's sad because I've gone many years and it's like I have more mental clarity than I could even explain. The final habit is going to be stop scrolling and actually read. So the thing is here, and I'm not just talking about audiobooks. A lot of people are going to try to find a loophole here and consume media. Audiobooks are amazing. I love them. So don't get me wrong. I love audiobooks. I love podcasts. I love learning that way. I do it all the time. But there's something about picking up an actual book and just sitting there and reading it. Because what it does is it gives you a tactile feeling on your hands. Now, of course, you can do the Kindle or something like that too. The real main thing here is that you're not getting distracted by scrolling the feed on social media. You're not just like, wasting time on the internet. You're actually focused on a very specific topic because when you're reading a book, there's just only that is in your brain at that moment. You're just reading that. You're quieting everything else. It's almost like a meditation, and it's sad how lost a lot of it is. It's weird that I even have to tell people to read books sometimes, but in the way that it is now, you can be constantly stimulated by your phone, and it's not good. And if you combine all these habits that I'm telling you here, you're going to have an amazing year and a lot of breakthroughs and a lot of clarity, and things are going to open up for you in a way that I can't even fully articulate. But I've experienced it because when you start combining all of these things and staying consistent on them, you start to develop a mental toughness, a no compromise attitude of staying consistent. And it will align you to so much more because you'll actually start to build this into your identity. These basically the environmental and behavioral changes that you're making will start to develop your skills, and then they'll start to move into how you feel about yourself, your beliefs, and your actual identity, and they will create lasting changes. That's why you have to have the combination, though. But let me get back to the how, because again, I told you what to do to change your life for this year and for the years ahead. But how do you actually stay consistent with this? How do you do it? Now, of course, you can do some stuff like write down your plan. Now, I do think everybody here should write down their plan. Write down what they're going to do. Write it on an actual piece of paper with a pencil or pen. Actually write it down and keep it somewhere near you. So you're going to write down what it is that you're going to actually do here. Write down the habits that you're going to do. And write them in this way. I am going to pray and meditate every day. I'm going to do this, and write them all down in that way. Okay. Now, I highly recommend you actually use a notebook for this. So get yourself a notebook. You can get like one of these. It's like basic notebooks. Can be whatever. So you can write them down on a piece of paper first. Then you can get your notebook. Now, after you write them down on a piece of paper or write them on the first page of your notebook, what I want you to do is write them down, number them. Okay, so maybe pray and meditate every day is number 1. Maybe go to sleep at the same time every day is maybe that's number 7 since it's the last thing you do of the day. Maybe wake up at the same time every day is number 2. So you write them down, you number them. And now what you can do is every single day, you can take this notebook and you can actually go through and put the date. So let's say it's February 11th. You write February 11th on there, 2026. And then you write 1. And then you put yes or no. So yes, you did it, or no, you didn't. And you can have until the end of the day to do each one of these things. Now, of course, you want to have some level of consistency. So if you want to get more over time, get more specific and say pray and meditate every morning by this time, you can start to do that. You can write them down each day and mark off that you did them. And after you do them, what you need to do is just write on the page, write a big like check mark or like a star or something when you do it. All right, like I won the day. That was a concept I actually got from Andy Frisella of winning the day. So that was an idea that I got from him about like you can win the day or lose the day. And if you do this, focusing every single day on these things is actually going to help you with your productivity and reinforce that you're a consistent winner. So, and it's going to build that into your how you feel about yourself. So you can start to mark it off every day. This is going to help you stay consistent because nobody wants to mark off that they lost the day and didn't do what they were supposed to do. Now, if you lose one of these days, that doesn't mean that your year is messed up completely now. Because what you're going to do is, with enough wins, you're going to keep building more and more consistency. And when you go on win streaks, you're not going to want them to end. And eventually, you're going to get to the point where they don't end because you just stay that level of consistent. So that's one of the hows of what you can do here. Now, beyond this how, another thing that you can do is during your prayer and meditation that you're doing every day, you can have a brief visualization exercise, visualizing yourself following all of this stuff to the T for the day. If you do this in the morning when you do your meditation and prayer, then you're going to have a much higher chance of success. And what that looks like is you actually do a visualization where you experience your ideal self, the you that actually does this every day and has lived this way throughout this time. So it's not just about what the ideal you does, it's more about who the ideal you is as a person. What are their values? So when you come up with these habits, the values are this is a consistent, strong person. They have a lot of discipline. It's a person that is reliable, trustworthy, and just unwavering in their conviction, integrity. You start to think about these values in an ideal version of you. And what you can do is during your once you visualize this ideal you, then every morning when you do your visualization practice, you can actually step into that ideal you and really just feel it. Feel what it feels like. And you're going to want to do these habits because you know that these habits are the habits that this person, this ideal you, would do no matter what. So that's going to help you with the how. It's not just about some fake affirmations and telling yourself you're going to do something. It's like this is an actual way for you to really identify with your core values and your core goals and to actually live them out. It's a very practical technique that you can use. It's a visualization style that definitely works. It's rooted in NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. And I have a lot more details in the description in my free school community that will help you learn even more about this. So definitely check that out and let me know what you think in the comments.